The higher the tariff, the more likely it is to have them come into the country.
The higher the tariff, the more you're going to put on the value of that piece, those goods, the higher people are going to pay in shops.
We're going to be putting a very large tariff on chips and semiconductors.
On pharmaceuticals, we'll be putting a initially small tariff on pharmaceuticals, but in 1 year, 1.5 years maximum, it's going to go to 150%, and then it's going to go to 250% because we want pharmaceuticals made in our country.
Tariffs are about making America rich again and making America great again, and it's happening, and it will happen rather quickly. There'll be a little disturbance.
I'm going to look back in this room.
Yeah.
One last time.
Yeah.
What's that going to feel like?
It's going to feel good. We've made a difference to make a child smile, to make a child laugh. And we did that. And we did it for 44 years.
$17.49 for 1 can of coffee in America.
Across the United States, at checkout counters and in small storefronts, an economic storm is unfolding. Prices on groceries, clothing, even car parts are climbing. Some businesses, corner shops, are struggling to survive. What's behind this surge? A new wave of tariffs, introduced under President Trump's second administration, is reaching into every pocket and shop. Today, we're exploring the ripple effects of President Trump's new tariffs, what they are, how they're driving up costs, and how the consumers and businesses are responding. First, what exactly is a tariff? A tariff is essentially a tax on foreign goods entering the country. Think of it as a surcharge. If you import steel or clothing, you or your supplier must pay extra when that item crosses the border. The importer usually passes along that cost. Either they absorb it or you, the consumer, pay more. In his second term, President Trump enacted sweeping tariffs. Average rates climbed from around 2.5% early in 2025 to nearly 27% by mid-year, levels not seen since the Smoot-Hawley Act nearly a century ago. Consumers are already feeling the pressure. Reports show recent tariffs, including a blanket 10% on all foreign imports, are already pushing prices up for everyday goods like groceries, electronics, vehicles, and car parts and more. Goldman Sachs says that while businesses currently absorb much of the cost, by October consumers could bear up to 67%. One report estimates that U.S. households could be paying nearly $4,000 more per year because of these tariffs.
Okay, so I want to cover what Americans are going to be paying as a result of tariffs, how much costs are going to go up, and how much the tariffs are going to be passed on to us. Tariffs have increased threefold. Tariffs that are applied to other countries that are exporting into the United States are paid by us. We pay. It increases the cost of whatever that product is bringing in here. And it has tripled. Tariffs have tripled to $336 billion per year. We are paying $336 billion a year in these taxes, in these Trump tariffs, okay? What does that mean? That's an additional $2,871 per American household we're paying each year. Now, that's just for the products. Now, everything else is increasing in cost because of Donald Trump. Whether it's medical care, whether it's people that are losing work and they're having to rely on more. It's expensive to be poor, let's just put it that way. So the average American family can expect to pay more than $6,393 in increased costs between the goods going up, between health care, between all kinds of stuff. This is Trump's economy, okay? He's over there fucking boasting about his tariffs. Every single time he boasts, he's sticking it to us. He's sticking it to us. He's passing on the costs to us. And at the same time, we're paying federal taxes. an average of 14.8% for the average American household, according to Pew Research. And we're getting less for our money because they're cutting all of these federal programs and federal funding. We're getting less for what we're paying the federal government. So he's fucking sticking it to us and we're getting less for it. That's it. That's MAGA in a nutshell.
Guys, this is bad news. I own a recruiting firm, and the jobs report came out today, August 1st, and only 73,000 jobs were added in July. That's the weakest report in over a decade, but that's not the worst part. The last 2 months were actually revised down by 258,000 jobs, and unemployment actually ticked up to 4.2%. This is not a slowdown, this is a stall. And at the same time, prices are going up due to the tariffs, and imports are getting more expensive, and food and tech, all of our things, all of our prices are going up. So inflation is going up. Consumers are spending less, wanting to save more, and confidence is dropping fast. So companies aren't hiring, but they're also not laying off. And that is a weird pressure cooker moment for our economy. And it's a bad recipe. Weak job growth, rising prices, cautious consumers, and no hiring. So pay attention. This isn't just a bad month. It might be a moment that the economy tips. So what do you think? Are we headed towards a recession?
We don't grow coffee beans in the United States. Every major coffee shop gets their coffee beans imported from out of the country. Coffee's probably going to get more expensive. Coffee's probably going to get more expensive. You putting tariffs on coffee? Starbucks is gonna die. Guess we doing tariffs now. Guess we putting tariffs on foreign goods now. Bye-bye coffee. Ain't gonna be worth it anymore. Y'all been bitching and complaining about how expensive coffee has gotten at Starbucks and other places over the years. You ain't ready for this one.
What the What the $17.49 for 1 can of coffee in America. This used to be $11.99 a month and a half ago. Yeah. Are we gonna go uncaffeinated in America? Because what the $17.49 for one.
The tariff must have really hit the coffee industry, because I'm telling you right now, the prices that I'm seeing right here in my grocery store is absolutely insane. Check this out. So you mean to tell me that now Starbucks is $15.29? I could swear I only paid like $10 or $11 or even less. But it's not only that, it's all these other coffees that were originally before $8.99. This one is $7.99. The Dunkin' Donuts, that's the sale. Ugh, do not like Dunkin'. But everything else, $17, $14. The price has definitely gone up for all the coffees. Now there's a buy one get one free on this coffee. Oh, but let me look at the coffee pods to see how much that has gone up. Yep, they're like at $12. Just a 12 pack of coffee pods at $12.69. This is absolutely insane. The tariffs affect us, I guess, guys. And you know what? I need my coffee. I'm gonna spend $15.29. Oh boy.
I'm in Walmart right now. So Walmart came out and said that they're also gonna have to raise prices because of the tariff increase. A year ago it was 10%, now it's 30%. Of course, very recently it was shot up to 145%. The one thing I can't help but think about is how many shelf labels there are in here. Like, this is just the wiper blade aisle. So now, because of this fight that no one asked for, still no one can defend and understand, every retailer out there is going to have to change their price tags. The logic initially was to do American made, but even that is thrown out the window. Yet another way we stick it to the hourly worker, right?
This is an actual sign that was up in Wegmans in Pennsylvania. You know how I know it's real? I took the picture with my own phone when I went to Wegmans earlier today. And it's all about tariffs. Shall we read? Our bananas are imported from Colombia, Honduras, and Costa Rica, which are impacted by a 10% tariff. We are working with our suppliers to minimize the impact to our customers and are committed to keeping our prices competitive on affected items. I applaud this. Every grocery store, I don't care what grocery stores, should have signs up like this. and be transparent to the American people about how much more groceries are going to cost us because of tariffs. I'm going to take it a step further. Every store that I go in, I want to see a sign or something on my receipt, a line item on my receipt calling out tariffs. I want to know how much more, as an American citizen, I want to know how much more I'm paying because of Supreme Leader Trump's tariffs. It's only fair. Microsoft made an announcement yesterday. They said we're going to raise prices up to 25% on our Xbox consoles, equipment, and games. Other companies have warned that tariffs are coming. I just want to see a line item on my receipt or signs like this to show transparency to every American citizen on why their prices are going up. And notice the sign didn't say one thing. The sign did not blame Joe Biden for the cost of my bananas going up today. You know what the sign didn't say? It didn't say it's Joe Biden's fault that the price of my bananas went up today. Nope, it said tariffs. And you know who put the tariffs in place? Supreme Leader Trump, everybody. Yes, he did. Under his eye.
Is it tariffs? Is it price gouging? Look at these prices in my small hometown of Aurora, Washington. Guys, the tariffs are in active effect. Look at these clothes in Walmart. All the tags have these bottom pieces. All the tags have these bottom pieces ripped off. But then you find one with the bottom still on. $10.98. The price is raised to $11.98. This is the effect of Donald Trump's tariffs. I'm gonna show you a pretty bad one right here. This is on child's clothes. You can see they ripped off the bottom. That's what it's supposed to look like, $6.98. These are up to $10.98 now. That is a $4 increase. And on the ones that there's no bottom price to rip off, they're putting these stickers so you wouldn't know what the old price was. Here's a backpack that was $19.97. Now it's $24.97. While in the store, we saw anywhere from $1 to $8 price increases across products all over the store. If you don't believe me, go to your local, whether it be Walmart or Target, and check this out for yourself. When you're going through the clothing, they forget to rip off. The employees are tasked with ripping off those bottom pieces. They don't get them all. They miss a couple, and that's where you can see what the old price was versus the new price up on the board. This is the effect of Donald Trump's tariffs.
So the tariffs for the car parts for all the automotive industry go in effect today. So be prepared to have the automotive industry get hit with possibly slowing down production and those car prices going up. And I work in the automotive industry, and I can tell you the majority of our parts come from Mexico, Canada, China. So this is going to hit production with us pretty soon. Just want to give you guys the news.
Breaking news, tariffs are in effect. What does that mean for the automotive industry? That means anything that's imported, pretty much majority of automotive parts, are gonna go up 25%. Means fixing your car is gonna cost more money.
Hey, if you have a car repair that you need to get done sometime soon, and you're blowing it off, recommend doing it before August 1st. The reason I suggest doing this before August 1st is because my mechanic literally crashed out the other day because he had to tell me bad news about my brakes. Normally a probably $500-600 thing turned into a $1,700 thing, and he hooked me up with a discount, so it wasn't $1,700 for me. He did say the tariffs are what is actually affecting this. So more tariffs are coming as of August 1st. So yeah, if you can, get it done.
Small businesses are also feeling the heat. Small and mid-sized businesses are especially vulnerable. They lack the bulk buying power to absorb tariff hikes. A JP Morgan Chase Institute report projects they could face an $82 billion tariff burden this year alone. This is hitting wholesalers and manufacturers hard, with slim margins and limited room to maneuver. Economists warn of a potential stagflationary slowdown, simultaneously persistent inflation and slowing growth. JP Morgan forecasts GDP growth slipping to 1.3% in 2025 and sees a 40% chance of a recession later this year. Nationwide, the expected tariff burden for small firms is estimated at $202 billion annually.
It is the last day.
Jennifer Bergman is the owner of Westside Kids, an independent New York City toy store founded by her mother.
The toys and the books and the games, they're memories that we all cherish from our childhood.
After 44 years, Westside Kids is closing.
Our ultimate competition is online shopping.
That was her biggest challenge when we met in December. Then the tariffs came.
Where do most of the products in your store come from?
China.
And kind of what percentage?
90%, I'd say. With the announcement of the tariffs, people just got really scared and stopped spending money.
How much of a factor were the tariffs in that decision?
It was the final nail in the coffin, definitely.
I'm gonna look back in this room.
Yeah.
One last time.
Yeah.
What's that gonna feel like?
It's gonna feel good. We've made a difference to make a child smile, to make a child laugh. And we did that, and we did it for 44 years.
While it may be the end of Westside Kids, Jennifer Bergman wouldn't change a thing.
I was 14 when the store opened. I'm 58 now. I grew up here. It's my home. Met some amazing people. I wouldn't have wanted to do anything else.
It's a drastic hit for us. We have $250,000 in inventory stuck in China right now. Can't ship it here. We don't have $400,000 to pay the tariffs that Trump wants on those right now. So we've had to freeze all shipments, all orders, all production. And sadly, we've had to let go of most of our people already this year. If these tariffs don't end tomorrow, we're out of business in months.
You've had to let go people? How many people have you had to let go?
Yeah, we had 12 people at the beginning of the year. We're down to 5 employees now.
I'm kind of, to be honest, as a small business woman, annoyed at the idea that people are talking about we have a 90-day pause, because I just want to point out two things. One, there's still 10% on everything. And 10% is not nothing. There are ways to help businesses in the United States. There are ways to help consumers in the United States. Tariffs are not the way to do it. And all he has created is the fact that we don't know what's going to happen. We are all uncertain. I was looking at a second location. How could I do that now?
I can't tell you how brutal these tariffs are. I'm a small business. I sell travel and organization products. My brand sells to Nordstrom, Macy's, Anthropologie, and also my direct-to-consumer site. But I'm telling you, everything is so uncertain right now and scary, and some big opportunities that we're going to be kicking off are on hold. I'm just like, what is going to happen? I'm trying not to stress. I've been through over 20 years of business. What goes down comes up, what's up comes down, but this is just like absolutely unprecedented. So if you had your eye on any of my products, I tagged one here, check it out, because I might have to raise my prices and I can't imagine doing that. I don't want to do that. It's like a bad dream, and all I can do is just try and be optimistic, but damn. So support your small businesses right now. If you see something that you love, snatch it up, because prices are going to be increasing. I'm a self-funded small business. This is my livelihood. This is my everything.
Recently, I've been getting a ton of questions about the tariffs and how they will affect our business, and I've been very curious to see the effects as well, and I'm going to try to answer it to the best of my ability, or at least in my opinion. But before I do that, I just want to say that this is not a political post in any way, shape, or form. If you've been watching for a while, then you know I don't touch on political issues, but these tariffs are real-world things that are going to affect our business directly. Again, this is just my opinion, but I do think we're going to see scrap prices increase as these tariffs take effect, and we've actually already started to see that. The steel market has moved up the last 2 months, and we've seen the aluminum market and the copper market both increase significantly over the past several weeks. And in theory, with the tariffs increasing the cost of imported metals, that should increase demand for domestically made materials, thus increasing the demand for scrap materials needed to make those materials. But I guess we'll see what the long-term effects are going to be. I definitely think the markets are going to continue to respond positively and negatively to tariffs and trade-related talks. And typically speaking, the news of a trade issue causes more turmoil than the actual implementation. So whenever news comes out, the markets respond instantly. And then once things actually change, things kind of get back to normal. But that's a great question, and as things develop, I'll try to keep you informed.
The tariff is gonna affect everyone, and as a business owner, like, we import tea from like Taiwan, and even Taiwan is an ally with the US. We still got hit like by 30% of the increase, and this is just crazy because, like, in order to survive, we have to raise the price, and the consumer gonna get a hit. And it's not just us, it's like most of the brands in the US, their supply chain are international. So it's gonna affect every single one, from the clothes to foods, like to, like furnitures, like anything you can think of, like the cars. And I don't know, like, I think a lot of like companies gonna go out of business, but also it's just really hard to build a business, especially CPG brand, at this type of like environment. Is literally like we don't know what's gonna happen tomorrow, so we're just like processing it and see when is the policies gonna change, and we have to react accordingly. So yes, and I'm also just worried that, like, me as a consumer, that like I'm not gonna be able to afford anything anymore, because like a matcha is gonna cost like $20 now.
The exact number of tariffs that we paid in the year of 2024 was $435,000. So far, in the first 6 months of 2025, we have surpassed that number to $445,000. Now, if trade talks don't deliver and the trend continues, I'm slated to pay by the end of this year, 2025, $800, $900, possibly $1 million in tariffs.
They're big numbers for any business. You're actually a Trump supporter. Are you disappointed in how tariff and trade policy is affecting companies like your own?
Yes, I'm a Trump supporter, and yes, I'm disappointed, but I think a better word might be frustrated, because the speed at which these tariffs happened was so fast, none of us had time to react. And also the broad, sweeping strokes of the tariffs, which sucked us all in and all product lines in. When so many of us, the products that we bring in cannot be made in the United States.
The tariff wave sweeping across the United States is reshaping economic realities, from family budgets to storefront closures. While some businesses withstand the shock, many are scrambling to make ends meet. For consumers, they are already feeling the heat now, but as these tariffs ripple through supply chains, deeper pain may lie ahead. As markets and policymakers prepare for potential rate cuts or further slowdown, the question remains, what will the long-term cost of these tariffs be for businesses, households, and the nation's economic engine?
How do you think tariffs will affect the economy?
I mean, tariffs are actually, we've had a lot of experience with them. They're an act of war to some degree.
How do you think tariffs will impact inflation?
Over time, they're a tax on goods. I mean, the tooth fairy doesn't pay them. I mean, and you always have to just, and then what? You always have to ask that question in economics. Always say, and then what?
So is there an answer for that when people say, inflation persists, consumer prices keep going up, when's the end in sight?
No, prices will be higher 10 years from now, and 20 years from now, and 30 years from now.
as prices rise and businesses adapt or close. What about you? Have you felt the impact in your own wallet? Will these tariffs truly bring jobs and factories back to American soil, or will they simply make life more expensive? And if you were running a small business facing these costs, what choices would you make? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and we will see you in the next one.